Hey, friends. I'm noticing a pattern, and it's coming from a lot of different directions. So I actually wanted to come on and talk about it. And the first time I heard this, I'm actually trying to remember. think I think that it was when I read uh The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. It might have been because I was reading them both at the same time. It might also have been The Success Principles with Jack Canfield. One or the other book. I actually think I'm going to reread both of them. So I'll get back to you which book I heard this from. But one, I really think it was The Big Leap. So this is the thing. Confrontations or arguments, whether they be with our spouse or with our boss or a coworker or one of our kids. When you're in a confrontation, and you have two sides that have two thought processes. Anytime you're in an argument, it means that you have one person that is the victim and one person that's the villain or the aggressor, right? So if you win the argument, that means that you've won the biggest victim. Yeah, I did like pause to get you to think about that for a second. Okay. So when I read that, I thought to myself, why in the world would I ever want to get into an argument? And why in the world would I ever want to win an argument? Yet people spend so much time wanting to win arguments. And they're not too happy when I ask them, what can they do differently? How can they show up differently? What do they want their result to be? So this is something that I ask myself all the time. I don't really argue much anymore, because if you want to point out my flaws or my faults, you're going to find them. And I'll probably agree with you, because I have I have faults and flaws. Now, if we're going to have two different opposing thoughts and sides, you might be able to hear my kids screaming. It is Christmas vacation, y'all. So if you have two different sides or two different opponents, right, that's two different people having two different thought processes. So do I want to show up and do I want to convince the other person that I am a victim and they should be sorry and feel sad for me? Or do I want to show up and ask how can we create this scenario to become more connected? What do I want the result of this conversation to be? How do I want to show up as a human being in this conversation, in this situation? Do I want to yell? Do I want to walk away and avoid? Do I want to talk and work things out? Do I want to be fluid in my thinking and open-minded and strong and emotionally aware and enough to be heard, to hear and listen, and be open-minded enough to be able to absorb what the other person is thinking? Maybe put myself in that person's shoes. Be open-minded enough to not always think that my thought process is the right one. There's always more than one way to solve a problem. There's always more than one way to think about something. If you have one situation happen and you've got 10 people in the room, you could have 10 people's thoughts about that one situation. Now, that one situation could create all different kinds of thoughts and feelings, right? So, do I want to be fixed in my mindset or open? Now, maybe I hear the other person's point of view and I don't want to change my point of view. That's okay. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. Just means that I've decided what my point of view on that situation is. Does it make me a victim or a villain? Just makes me sure at what I'm thinking. Or maybe I can hear the other point of view and find some value in that. Maybe there's a combination of the two point of view, right? So just some food for thought. Love you all. Take care.